is in the arms of another. Do not trouble to lie. You see, I know your secret. Yours and the Lady Bathsheba's.
You know nothing.
The lady has servants. Servants tell things to other servants, and they in turn tell them to their mistresses.
So the daughter of Saul concocts a fantasy from servants' gossip.
Bathsheba's condition is no fantasy. And the child she carries is yours. Oh, my husband, I guessed at once why you had sent for Uriah. Only David would have thought of it. A clever trick, worthy of the son of goatherds.
Get out.
You cannot save Bathsheba now. Your scheme has failed. Uriah has not been to his house all night. Even now, he sleeps here in the palace with the officers of your God.
Sire, forgive me. I have slept late.
I told you to go home.
I ask your pardon, sire. I could not go to my wife.
Why not?
It's a matter of my own worthiness. Perhaps you will consider this foolish, but when Joab told me I was to come to Jerusalem, I swore an oath on my sword. I swore that while the army still slept in tents, while Rabbah still stood in defiance of God's will, I would deny myself the comforts and the pleasures of my own house. I would keep myself clean for battle as if for entering the tabernacle of the ark. I'm sorry if I have offended my king. If the dispatches are ready, I will go.
You fool. You son of a blind fool.
Sire. Dispatches for Joab, sire. Dispatches. Shall I give them to Uriah?
No. There is an additional order. Set Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle. It is his own wish, Abishai. Even his own words.
Is that all?
No. I will not add hypocrisy to my other sins. Even if Joab should understand what I intend, I cannot ask him to share the burden of my guilt. Here is the order. Set Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle and retire from him that he may be smitten and die. Yes. When it is finished, seal it and give it to Uriah.
Yes, sir.
We bring great news. The walls of Rabbah have been breached. When we left, there was fighting in the streets of the city. Joab bids me urge you to come to Rabbah with all speed to receive the surrender of your enemies.
And our dead?
Our losses have been heavy, sire. Of the captains of 1,000, Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, and Heled, the son of Ikesh. Of the captains of 100, Hezro the Carmelite, Egal, the son of Zelik, Ittai, the son of Ribai, Abiel, the Arbathite, Eliam, the son of Reuben, Shammah, the Haradite, Uriah, the Hittite, Bani, the Gadite, Asmaveth, the son of Eli, and many more are wounded.
How did Uriah the Hittite die?
There was a mistake in the order, sire. Uriah advanced too far into the breach and was cut off from his command.
When you have eaten and rested, prepare to return to Rabbah. I will ride with you.
Sire.
Sire, Lady Bathsheba's servant is waiting for your answer.
Go to Bathsheba. Tell her that Uriah is dead. Tell her to prepare for our marriage at the end of her month of mourning.
Will you not go to her yourself?
No.
God is heavy on his people. Thus speaks the Lord. I will withhold the rains and cause the fields and vineyards to dry up and the flocks to grow thin. I will waste the land with drought, the people with famine. Yea, I will smite Israel for its sin against me. Woe unto Israel! Woe unto my people who have sinned.
What sin, Nathan?
The Lord has not vouchsafed to me its nature. But evidently the sin is great, thus to incur his wrath.
Does it take so much to make him angry? That soldier who laid hands on the ark, he was only trying to be helpful.
It is not for us to question the ways of the Lord.
I question nothing. Yet the sun was hot that day. The man had been drinking wine. All were excited when the ark began to fall. Is it not possible that the man might have died naturally from other causes?
All causes are of God.
We've had droughts before, Nathan. I'm buying grain in Egypt and Philistia. There will be enough for everyone until the rains come if I have to empty my treasuries. Now, what more can I do? Is there anything else?
Yes, sire. I have sat in the gate and listened to the people talk of the king.
What do they say?
They say that David is no longer David. They say that he neglects his duty, that he is often away from the city. When he is here, he has turned his face from his people. Petitioners are sent away from his door without a hearing.
In hard times, it's natural that some will complain.
Complain, yes, sire. But not talk openly of overthrowing the king.
Explain yourself.
The hearts of the Israelites are turning after your son.
Well, it's difficult to imagine poor Amnon winning anyone's heart.
Not Amnon, your second son, Absalom.
Boy?
Every day he is at the gate seeking those you have turned away. To these he says, "Oh, that I were made a judge in the land, that all may come to me and receive justice."
Confine yourself to the affairs of God. Leave the affairs of the kingdom to me.
Sire.
Oh, Abishai, I have orders for Joab.
The king forgets that he too is a servant of the Lord.
Priests are waiting.
I have been waiting these days and weeks, waiting for a word from the one who called himself my lover, for a sign that all of his promises were not lies.
Beloved,
do not call me that. Even the word is a lie. If you still loved me, you would not have avoided me. You would not have left me in darkness, alone with my fears.
You know that I was called to Reba.
It is a week since your return.
They are waiting.
Let them wait. There will be no waiting.
I will not try to justify my behavior. But even if I have earned your hatred, you know why the wedding must take place.
I could more easily find courage to face the stones of the mob. If our marriage is no more than an act of charity on your part, then say so. If I have lost your love, tell me, and I will trouble you no longer. I am not a beggar, David.
Beloved, it is I who am the beggar. I beg your patience. If you love me, say no more. Take my love on faith. It is yours. It will always be yours.
lady. The king should be called if he would again see his son alive.
Call him.
Sire. Lady Bathsheba asks your presence.
The child is better.
No, sire.
The physicians can do no more. They say he will die.
I know. I have known it these 7 days. I have lain in sackcloth on the earth. I have fasted. I have tried to pray. My prayers were only words, going out into emptiness. They fell on no ears but my own.
Sire, you told me to inform you. The ambassador from Egypt has arrived. Shall I send him away?
Now I will go down. The time for grieving is past. Will it bring my son back if I mourn for him? No, I shall go to him. But he will not return to me.
The Pharaoh bleeds for his cousin and for the people of Israel. But alas, the Pharaoh's storehouses are empty. There is barely enough grain to feed Egypt.
The heart of the Pharaoh cannot bleed, for it is bloodless. The storehouses of Egypt are full.
My sacred Osiris, I swear to you I speak truth.
Dog of Egypt, you lie. And your master lies. This is only what I expected. Charity is not to be found among the virtues of those who make gods of vultures and hyenas. Now go.
Nathan, the prophet of God.
I come on a matter of justice, sire. Hear and render judgment.
You may speak.
There were 2 men, one rich and one poor. The rich man owned great flocks and herds. But the poor man had naught but one ewe lamb. He reared it, and it grew up with him and his children. It ate of his food and drank of his cup, and it was like a daughter to him. Now there came a wayfarer to the rich man, asking meat. But the rich man did not take of his own flocks, feed his guest. Instead, he took the poor man's one ewe lamb and slew it and prepared it for the wayfarer. What is your verdict upon this man?
He shall restore the lamb sevenfold.
The lamb is dead. It cannot be restored.
Then the man deserves to die, because he had no pity.
You are the man.
You have made me pronounce sentence upon myself. Very well. It is done. And there is no appeal. It is the will of God, and I accept it. Gladly.
It is not his will that you should die, David. Worthy or unworthy, you are his anointed. Through Samuel, he chose you to lead his people. Your labors in his behalf are still unfinished. But you cannot escape the punishment of the Lord.
I have not escaped it. My son is dead.
His justice is still unsatisfied. You have paid for your adultery, but you have also killed. You have taken up the sword and slain your fellow creature for your desire. Now, therefore, the sword shall never depart from your house. You shall know the hatred and ingratitude of your own flesh. Brother shall turn against brother, and son against father. The history of David's house shall be a history written in blood.
You tell me nothing new. I am content.
Even so, the tally of the Lord is not paid. The woman has been denounced. She also must expiate her sin.
She has lost her child. Is that not enough?
Bathsheba has sinned, and she must render payment according to the law of Moses.
Uriah's death was my act, and mine alone.
She was a faithless wife.
Faithless only because I made her so. Could she deny the king when I called her? Could she refuse to obey my commands? No, she would never lie for herself. And I will not lie for her. But even if she sinned, she has done no evil. She came to me with love and tenderness. She lifted up my heart. She has brought no evil with her.
She has brought adultery and murder. She has brought the drought and the famine. She has brought the wrath of God upon Israel. They know the law, and so does David.
Yes, I know the law. Where are the accusers? Under the law, they must cast the first stone. Where are those who will say that I knew Bathsheba before our marriage? Who will dare to say it to my face? So there are no accusers. You have none. I cannot find it in my heart to blame you for what you do. But you, Absalom, my son, have I given you cause to hate me so?
Go, David, and bring Bathsheba here to face her judges. You have made her a queen in Israel. It is not fitting that she should be dragged to judgment by the people.
lady.
Abishai, go to the stable and get horses. Bring them to the gate in the garden wall.
Yes, sir.
No, not that way. They'll be watching. Go by way of the terrace. We'll be out of the city before they know that we've gone.
Sire! The palace is surrounded.
Call the guard. Surely my own bodyguard can be trusted. Go, go!
No, David. We cannot fight against the will of God.
A God who punishes the guiltless.
I am not without guilt, David. Now I know how Uriah died. I think I really knew before our marriage. Knew and put it from my mind. I lacked the courage to face the truth. My guilt is as great as yours. Greater. Because I let you bear the burden of it alone.
I killed him.
I wished him dead. God sees into our hearts, David. I am ready.
God, I cannot let them take you. I cannot let you die.
David?
Yes, love.
In all our time together, you have never played for me. Something from your boyhood. When you were a shepherd.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. goodness and mercy. When I wrote those words, I believed in such a God. I was only an ignorant shepherd boy. There was no one to teach me about God. So I taught myself. I saw him in the hills, in the trees, in the miracle of the birth of lambs. I felt his mercy when the wolves had fled and my flock was safe. When spring broke the grip of snow and ice. When the cool wind blew after the heat of the day. I saw his splendor in the flowers blazing on the hillsides, the stars burning in the sky, and knew his hand in everything. Then I wandered from him. When I tried to find him again, I had lost him. Somewhere in Saul's court, or when I roamed the desert in exile, or in the camp of the Philistines. His image paled in the lights of the cities, and his voice was drowned, quarreling and scheming, of the ambitious and the mighty. And now Nathan has found him for me. Not the God of my boyhood days, but a God without mercy. A God who thinks only of his justice. So you must die, as the soldier died when he tried to save the ark from falling. He put his hands on the ark like this. You shall not die.
These are all who are willing, sir.
It will be enough. Take your stand at this door. If anyone tries to enter, cut him down.
You go to the right door. You to the left. Go to the wall. You go to the stairs. You go to the head here.
Where's the woman? She is not coming.
He is the king. You have heard the word of God.
I have heard the word of Nathan. You have told me that God demands justice, that I will believe. But I will not believe that he would condemn a helpless woman for another's crime.
Where are you going?
To the tabernacle. If God is what you say he is, if this is truly his justice, then let him speak for himself.
Will you go to him in anger?
He has shown me nothing but anger. He has turned his face from me.
It was David who first turned his face from God. Once there was a David who knew how to pray, who sought nothing for himself at the hands of God, who found his strength in faith alone. If that David still lives, his God will not deny him mercy.
God, thou God of my early youth, hear my prayer. Let thine eyes, which alone see clearly, fall upon thy worthless servant. In all things have I failed thee. My life is a waste. My crimes are many and terrible. To my sons I have bequeathed the evil that is in my blood. I have led my people into misery and want. I have used thee with ingratitude and betrayed thy trust. I have been a faithless shepherd. I am dust in the sight of thine eyes. I am less than the meanest creature crawling in the earth. And yet, O God, I am also thy creation. Take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Thy Spirit, which abode with me in the wilderness. I ask nothing for myself, O God. By my sins, I have put myself beyond the compass of thy forgiveness. But lift thine hand from thy people who suffer for my crimes. Forgive them the sin that is not theirs, but mine. Let the land thou gavest their fathers flow once more with thine abundance. And let Bathsheba live to praise thy name, testify to thy mercy. Show her the loving kindness of thy heart. Cleanse her from sin. And let thy punishment fall on thy servant who has earned it. Look not on the sinner who comes before thee, but on the boy he was, who loved thee, and who would have died for thee. Make my heart as his. Let the boy live again in his innocence. Grant him thy mercy, and take this David's life.
To his house. I am to stay with the sheep. The prophet is there, the prophet Samuel himself. It is said that he comes to choose a king over Israel.
Eliab, Abinadab, Shammah.
The Lord has not chosen one of these.
Any father would be proud of such sons.
You do well to feel pride, Jesse. But the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. Who is this?
My youngest son, David, who tends the sheep. But he's only a boy. A dreamer, a singer of songs.
Come hither, David. The Lord has chosen. Honor him, David. Walk in his light, and you shall serve him as few are permitted to serve.
Where is your champion, Hebrews? Who will stand forth and face me?
It is the giant of Gaza, challenging us to send a champion against him and so decide the battle. Sire, the men have heard his challenge these 40 dawns. They cower like whipped dogs at his voice. Unless he is met, and soon, our cause is lost.
And is there no one in the ranks of Israel who dares to meet this man?
Sire, if Goliath were only a man, any one of us would go. But he's like no man born of woman. His height is 6 cubits and a span, and his spear is like a weaver's beam.
There are dogs indeed to run before one Philistine. Is there no courage in Israel?
Sire, courage alone is not enough. No arrow can pierce the giant's armor. No spear can thrust beneath the reach of his arms. He casts his spear 100 long paces.
We call ourselves the chosen of the Lord. Are we to let the enemies of God take Israel because we lack a champion?
Sire, I will meet Goliath.
Who is it that speaks? Come forward. David, my armor bearer.
I will meet him, sire.
Sire, Samuel calls this boy the Lord's anointed. If you let him go down to face the giant, Samuel's prophecy can be proved or disproved.
David, you may meet Goliath.
No, David. Father, he is my friend.
Silence, Jonathan. Go, David.
With God, David.
Is Goliath a dog that you send a boy to meet him? Come closer, little one. Come closer. Come closer, little one.
My father, let me go down in David's place.
No, Jonathan. Let the Philistine prove the folly of Samuel's prophecy.
man can ever hope to know the real nature of God, but he has given us a glimpse of his face.
For his name's sake, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. My rod and my staff